I wonder how many people would hate me if I just called Eggman Baldy McNosehair throughout this entire video. Alright. There's a hair in my mouth. Have you ever had that one game you never really thought about all that much, even though it's been sitting on your shelf for a long time, and then one day you just suddenly felt like playing it for whatever reason? Maybe you're in a certain mood, or maybe you've seen other people talk about it and that compels you to try it out for yourself? Or maybe you're an online content creator looking for something to make a video out of and praying to God enough people watch it so that it can bring in some decent revenue and help keep you off the streets. I'm not sure where I was going with that. But anyway, let's talk about Sonic Colors. Ah yes, I remember this game clearly. The year was 2010, a time when sparkly vampires and multicolored choking hazards, commonly referred to as silly bands, were all the rage, and Sonic the Hedgehog was struggling to recover from one of the bleakest points in his career.
How long is this gonna go on?
But when Sonic Colors came along, it seemed to be just what people were looking for. Something simpler, something more approachable, something anyone could easily pick up and have fun with. Unless they work for Destructoid. This game took a very back-to-basics approach, and compared to other Sonic games out around the time, Colors felt like a breath of fresh air. Even as someone with an overtly neutral interest in the franchise at best, I thought it was great too. But Sonic has changed a lot in the past 10 years, so today, we're gonna see if Sonic Colors still holds up. The Wii version, anyway, of the DS game didn't really leave much of an impression on me.
The time for talking is over! It's time to push buttons.
Right? My bad.
The game's back-to-basics nature extends to both the gameplay and especially the story. Dr. Eggman's built a giant theme park in the middle of space, claiming to have reformed. Sonic is quick to expect something fishy's going on, and he's right. The good doctor ain't so good after all. As it turns out, he's been capturing aliens called Wisps and using their energy to power a mind control weapon that he plans on using to take over Sonic's world. It's your classic Sonic vs. Eggman shtick, and it might seem like I'm just skimming through the plot summary, but it really doesn't get much deeper than that. According to the game's producer, Sonic Team head honcho Takashi Iizuka, Sonic Colors was made to appeal to more casual audiences, including fans of the Mario series, such as myself. And those games are still great despite them being light on narrative, so the same can be said for this one. In terms of plot, Sonic Colors plays things pretty safe, but I wouldn't consider the writing in general to be lazy in any sense of the word like most people would nowadays. You can actually follow it at the very least. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and there's a level of playfulness that I think adds to the game's appeal. Some of the jokes might not land, and a few lines of dialogue are a bit too on the nose, but there are still some pretty funny moments here and there.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
Well, not if Universal Music Group has anything to say about it. In fact, I'm sure this video is gonna get claimed for even mentioning them. Yep, there we go. Still, that's one of my favorite lines in the game. It's definitely more kid-centric than other Sonic games, which is ironic since the guys that wrote the English script also gave us this. And they make no effort to hide it with Orbot and Cubot. This is where they made their debut, and every time they're on screen, they're doing something goofy and over the top, mostly just to grab the attention of kids that might have gotten distracted by a bug or a stray air molecule or something. So, yeah, this kind of tone won't be for everyone, but honestly, I'd rather have my Sonic games be lighthearted and fun than have them be an overly dark and overly convoluted mess.
Where's that damn fork?
Language!
That's just in the writing, however. The gameplay is where Sonic Colors truly shines. Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park comprises 6 main worlds with 7 levels each. The hub world style of travel seen in previous 3D Sonic games has been swapped out with a more traditional Mario-esque world map, with levels being represented by these big red markers! And progression is about as simple as getting to the goal ring at the end of one stage, and then moving on to the next stage. Levels themselves play out in a similar fashion to the daytime levels in Sonic Unleashed. Sonic retains many of his trademark techniques, including the slide, the quick step, under explicit circumstances, and of course, the homing attack. He also has a double jump now, which doesn't give him that much extra height, but can be useful for the very small number of times it's mandatory. Sonic controls pretty nicely, there's a lot of fluency to his movement, and he responds to button inputs quite well. Playing with him only gets slightly cumbersome when using the quick step, since you have to move left and right with the analog stick as opposed to using the shoulder buttons, which would have made it less awkward for me, and when gameplay shifts to the 2D perspective. The platforming in these sections can often be more intricate than the 3D sections, which mostly involve running down a straight line and taking out groups of enemies. But Sonic feels significantly stiffer here. Granted, he still handles perfectly fine, and it's not like the levels weren't built with these physics in mind, so it shouldn't be too hard to get used to this playstyle. Sonic Colors also brings back the boost gameplay from Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Rush. By holding down the boost button, Sonic can blast through the stage at super fast speeds until the boost meter runs out. This time around, you can refill it by killing enough bad guys or collecting white wisps found in special red capsules. I'm only mentioning this now because it leads us to the game's main gimmick. 7 different colored wisps will need to be rescued over the course of the game, and each of them gives Sonic a special ability. The cyan wisp turns Sonic into a laser and fires him through a stage. Yellow turns him into a drill and lets him move around under the stage. Orange shoots him up into the sky like a rocket. Blue lets him turn into a cube and makes solid blocks turn into rings, and vice versa. Purple turns him into whatever this is and lets him devour anything in his path. Green lets him hover through the air and perform the light speed dash near a trail of rings. And pink turns him into a spiky ball, letting him travel up walls and other surfaces, and even do the spin dash.
Oh, sorry, I just haven't been on camera in a while, and this is usually the part where it would cut back to me and I would say something to contribute to the last point I made and then transition into the next one, but I don't really have anything, so, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna head up!
Now, gimmicks can be used to provide players with a unique experience if the entire game is centered on them, but 3D Sonic games have a habit of shoving gameplay gimmicks down our throats, and these can often feel like crutches that end up tarnishing the experience rather than enhancing it. Sonic Colors takes that problem and chucks it out the window, along with its copy of Cats on Blu-ray. It realizes that Sonic's gameplay is serviceable enough on its own, so the wisps are not 100% crucial to finishing the adventure. The most you'll really need to use them for are taking alternate paths and obtaining some collectibles, and after finding them in later parts of the game, you can go back to levels you've already beaten and use their power to uncover some hidden secrets you couldn't get to before. Well, isn't that neat? In the grand scheme of things, the wisps are treated more like optional power-ups, but because of that, their presence never comes off as intrusive. Instead, it adds a lot of variety to the game and lets you comfortably beat it at your own pace. In theory, you could probably beat Sonic Colors without even using the wisps at all. But if you did that, you might miss out on a few of those red rings. Every single level has 5 red rings for you to collect, and most of them you won't be able to get on your first playthrough. Some require using wisp power-ups, some are located off the beaten path, and others will have you search every nook, cranny, and nook's cranny possible. These aren't needed to beat the main game, but collecting them lets you unlock levels in the Sonic Simulator. This little side game has you control a Sonic robot through a series of mostly 2D stages. It's pretty fun to mess around in, and you can even play as your Mii. It's just their head on Sonic's body, but there were certainly laughs to be had when I played as myself, Peter Capaldi, and your nightmares for the next few months.
Ah, what is that?
Your goal is the same as ever. Kill all the bad guys and make it to the goal ring without— Oh, no! Oh. Oh, man, that was close. Anyway, the level design here borrows some elements from the classic Sonic games, with bits of Spring Yard Zone and Scrap Brain Zone showing up from time to time. And there's also
outward-facing springs. My old enemy. And, wait, what was that? It just laughed at me! That's actually in the game! Ooh, those cheeky developers, they knew how annoying those springs are. I'm surprised there isn't a Sonic game that's nothing but springs, or bumpers. Wait.
So the Sonic Simulator is made up of 7 worlds, and completing each world rewards you with a Chaos Emerald. Once you grab all 7, you can play as Super Sonic in normal levels. Keep in mind, this was the first 3D Sonic game to give us this, while the other games only had Super Sonic playable during the final boss. I don't have him just yet, though. I've still got some red rings to find. I was gonna get them all for this video, but I stopped somewhere in the 120 or 130 range. Sonic Colors is generally pretty easy throughout. Some levels gave me a rough time, but I never saw the game over screen, and I was able to finish it in about 5 hours. But going after all the red rings is where it's at its most difficult. Though it's far from impossible, the means of locating them can make for a pretty strenuous journey that requires a lot of memorization, time, and patience. I think I can manage that. I'm a pretty cool, level-headed guy. Oh, come on! The extra life is right there, you Okay, I'm good. I'm good. So, while finding red rings might be the hardest part of the game, the easiest part of the game is, without a doubt, the boss fights. These make up the 7th and final level of each world, and beating them is about as challenging as it is to blink. Their patterns are easy to spot, and once you catch on, all you have to do is ram into them when they're at their most vulnerable. Some of the bosses are even recycled for other levels. Asteroid Coaster reuses Starlight Carnival's boss, and Aquarium Parks is just Sweet Mountain's boss again. I'm not sure why this is, but the fights are so easy that, frankly, my dear,
I couldn't care less! Yeah!
The final boss is pretty cool, though. After finishing the main worlds, you can make your way to the last area in the game, Terminal Velocity. All you do is run away from stuff, and then you can take Dr. McNose Hair head-on in a climactic showdown. With one final color blast, Sonic and his new Wisp friends are able to send Eggman flying off to who knows where, putting a stop to his evil plans. As the park explodes, the Wisps bring Sonic back to his world, and they thank him and Tails for saving them, ending the game on a satisfying note. Unlike the DS version, where they just throw in a last-minute fight with a giant purple jellyfish, all for the sake of having Super Sonic be exclusive to the final battle.
Because Dimps hates us. But you know what I don't hate? This game. I also don't hate today's sponsor, Rage!
Nah, I'm just messing with you. Joking aside, Sonic Colors is, truthfully, one of the best Sonic games ever, even today. The main adventure's a comfortable ride from beginning to end. The side stuff offers a fulfilling degree of challenge. I love the space setting. Oh, there you are, Tim Curry. Funny how you didn't show up earlier. As I was saying, it manages to find the right balance between speed and platforming. The Wisp mechanic makes it highly replayable, and it's just a really solid game with a clear focus and outstanding presentation. Graphically, this game holds up extremely well for a late Wii release. Lush environments, consistent frame rate, vibrant colors, and cutscenes with animation close to reaching PS3 and Xbox 360 levels of quality. On the audio side, and here's something that's going to raise a few eyebrows, Sonic Colors, in my opinion, has the best soundtrack of any 3D Sonic game to date. And whether you agree with me or not, you have to admit, there's still some pretty amazing stuff here. The instrumentation varies from world to world, there's a wide number of styles covered, and the composition is superb. My favorites being Tropical Resort, Aquarium Park, and Planet Wisp. Lest we forget about the game's main theme, Reach for the Stars, performed by Cash Cash. Though I personally like the credits theme, Speak With Your Heart, a lot more. Oh, hey look, it says, sup. Both these songs do a fantastic job at capturing the magic and wonder that the game delivers on. Also, we got some Jersey boys singing for a Sonic game. That makes me happy.
Sonic Colors isn't as widely praised now as it was when it first came out, and though there still aren't as many people that hate it as there are those that love it, detractors of this game have been popping up more in recent years. And I'm not here to tell them they're wrong, I can totally see where they're coming from. I just think Colors deserves a little more recognition. For one thing, it helped establish aspects of the series that are still around today. Most notably, it was the first mainline Sonic game to feature the current voice cast, including Roger Craig Smith as Sonic and Kate Higgins as Tails. before she was replaced by Colleen Villard about 4 years later, and literally nobody noticed. On a side note, did you know she was also the voice of Jazz in Danny Phantom?
You just earned a one-way ticket to Thermos Land, goat!
That's a thing. And you know what? Colors really was just the kind of game Sonic needed at the time. While there were some bright spots in his career like the Advanced Trilogy, the Rush games, his appearance in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and half of Unleashed, for a lot of fans, even that wasn't enough to help him escape from the failure of things like Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, the Storybook series, and the rest of Unleashed. I think if Sonic Colors hadn't done as well as it did, the state of the franchise would be completely different now. I'm not a hardcore Sonic fan myself, so I wasn't aware of the situation back then or really even affected by it. But now that I understand it better, it just makes me appreciate this game a lot more. It could have come out at any other time and still be a great game, but because it came out then and there, it ended up restoring a lot of people's faith in the series. And surely that meant it was followed up by even bigger and better games, like Sonic Generations. That game is awesome! And then it was followed up by... Okay, maybe this one wasn't so hot, but surely things must have gotten better after that. Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Aldo, thanks for watching everybody, and I apologize for just how long it took to get this video out. I've had lots of stuff happen to me since I did my last review in March. I've got this one project that someone's commissioning me for, and I've got some other videos in the pipeline at the moment. Hopefully I can get those done before I just go all in with Summer of Mario. Yeah, I know it's a little while away, but I got a lot of videos in mind, and I want to get a head start on those as soon as I can. So if May ends up being a lot slower when it comes to uploads, then you'll hopefully know why. But once again, I'd like to give a very special thanks to the patrons whose names are scrolling across the screen right now, and of course, my superstar supporters, Henry Newman, Jake Winans, and Rachel Rodriguez. If you'd like to support me as well, please consider pledging to my Patreon page, or becoming a sponsor by clicking the join button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Vlare, there should be an option where you can follow me for a certain amount of money a month. I still don't really know how that works, but there's that, I guess. And these are optional. You don't have to do any of this if you don't want to. I'm not going to force you to, but it would absolutely mean a lot to me if you would consider supporting me in these ways. I'm also going to be streaming 2 or 3 times a week. I'm going to try and keep up with the Animal Crossing streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I have a new series called Jackbox Fridays, where every Friday I get together with some friends and we play a bit of Jackbox Party Pack or Use Your Words. So tune in for that if you'd like stupid things. Links to my social media and Discord server are in the description, and if you want to stay updated on my future uploads, be sure to ring the notification bell, or just stay subscribed if you're watching on Vlare. Thanks again for watching. I love you guys with both my hearts. Stay safe, wash your hands, and with that said, this is Marc, bidding you all a smashing farewell. Take care.